Hey guys, how you doing? Day 500 million of the COVID-19 crisis and quarantine, right? Still bunkered down here in my apartment. Um, People keep saying, like, how are things going to look after the crisis? Like, after the crisis is over, how will our society have changed? What will we have done? Um, and there really is, like, a, I can still see it, and I still run into people, and I'm still talking to people online who are trying to pretend like this individualism narrative is going to survive, or that it's still a thing that we should be taking seriously, right? Um, Abandonment is not a policy, right? Like saying when you the conservatives were really rallying behind this whole idea of individualism and this whole idea that it's up to you to pull up your bootstraps and stand up straight with your shoulders back was the kind of Peterson restatement of that. Uh, and it's been completely laid to waste with the COVID-19 crisis, right? Anybody standing around, the people who are standing around, like in the States, how they are doing this, where they're standing around being like, well, it's up to the individual to do X, Y, and Z, right? They're going to suffer massive consequences, and those consequences will be obvious to everyone who has eyes to see. Um, and my sincere hope, is that this means the death of the Conservative Party. This whole rugged individualism, this whole insipid nonsense statement needs to be just seen as completely not a policy. Like, it's not a policy. It's not something that should be taken seriously. And my hope is that after this crisis ends, the people in politics who are still standing up and saying, like, no, it's up to the individual to take care of massive social change uh, uh, and massive struggles against giant conglomerate powers. It just needs to die, right? It needs to die a death that is so swift and vindictive uh, that it makes these people's heads spin and makes it so that they'll be shamed. This is the thing. Like, I think that the COVID-19 crisis has really revealed to many people just how stupid we were, like just how stupid everything is, right? Like, it's stupid to cede this much power to a small group of capitalists who are obviously going to abandon you the second they can, right? It's stupid to do that. It's stupid to cede this much power to a billionaire class that just does not care about you. And my hope is that we're going to come out of this crisis and we're going to look at our political class and we're going to say, solve our problems. If you try to say it's up to individuals, we're going to take that as a personal insult. We're going to take that as an. I don't understand how anyone takes that statement actually seriously coming from a politician. The entire point of electing a politician, the entire point of a democracy in the first place, is to elect people who are going to improve your lives. That's the only reason the structure exists as it does. And if you're voting for somebody who's actually saying, oh no, it's up to the individual, what they're actually saying is, I have no intention of improving your life. Uh, they're simply saying that the people who have power in the society, like the 15 people who actually have power in the society, should keep that power. Not acceptable. Just and that should become more and more obvious, and that should be obvious to anyone who has eyes to see. It's just not an acceptable position to take. And I sincerely hope that we come out of this crisis saying to one another, no, we need one another. We need to take a look at our social systems. We need to take a look at the systems around us, and we need to do what we can to make life better for everyone. I hope that that infects, I shouldn't use that word to describe my own sort of ideas, but I hope that that spreads through the populace like wildfire. And I hope that they figure out really fast, like, oh, we could just get rid of all student debt and make post-secondary completely free to the populace. We could do that. Lots of countries have done that. There's no reason we can't do that. hey, why are we paying such high prices for our cell phone bills? Why are we paying such high prices for our internet? Hey, how about we just nationalize that service and tell these private idiots to fuck off? Oh, hey, like, what are you talking about? Like, rent is so sky high. Oh, forget that. Like, let's just drop the rent, right? Oh, no, but economists say the rent control is bad. Here's a conversation I keep having over and over and over again. I go in and I say, hey, we should control the rent and we should drop rent maybe by half. I actually think we could drop the rent by about half and be fine with that. People immediately start showing me articles about economists who say, oh no, rent control is bad. And then you read the articles and it might as well be written by a sociopath. Literally, the article is saying you can't do rent control because that will make rich people less rich. And it's like, oh, so we're okay with like throwing people out on the streets. We're okay with homelessness. We're okay with creating a precariat and creating a desperate group of people. But if rich people have slightly less money, too bad. Too bad. To me, too bad should be the motto for the new left. Without a doubt, too bad. Like, I'm so sick and tired of having these right-wingers who are doubling down on ideologies that obviously fail, who clutch books they don't read, telling us that, oh, we can't afford it when we definitely can't afford it, and then telling us that we're shitbags for asking in the first place. Like, fuck these people. My deep, deep hope is that the Conservative Party is just destroyed in the next couple of elections. You take a look at an idiot like Scheer, and like McKay is not up to the task. Who are they going to put up? Aaron O'Toole? Like, it's. I feel like what I'm watching in the Conservative Party is just like a kind of a pale version, like not as a bombastic version as what's happening in the Democratic Party. I feel like the Conservative Party has tried to do what its objective is, and its objective is to sell the society to a small group of capitalists. That's its objective. And it's really put in all the energy it possibly could, right? It paid off all these, professionals, and it really gathered its forces, got everybody together, managed to finally get through under Harper, right? Harper was the first push of the sort of anti-life, anti-reason, anti-rational thought kind of force that corporate America, really, but corporate power needs, right? You can't have a rational argument with corporate power because corporate power understands that it's illegitimate. It understands the structure, like it gets it. It understands that there's no legitimacy to its power. But they have to lie and try to convince people that there is. And they have to try to take over democracies, and they have to try to take over those structures, right? And Harper was sort of the first part of that here in Canada. I shouldn't say that. Mulrooney was really bad. Mulrooney was part of NAFTA, right? But Mulrooney's party got completely destroyed. And so Harper comes along, and Harper's just a stooge, right? And he comes along, and he gets power only because the Liberals collapse. And the Liberals only collapse because they just become a bunch of corporate stooges themselves. And so people are like, well, if you're just going to be if you're just going to be some corporate stooges, right, we'll just vote Conservative, because if we're going to get the corporate stooges, we might as well get the ones who are trying to say that, yeah, we're corporate stooges. But Harper's party hasn't been wiped out yet, right? Mulrooney's party got wiped out. I think there was like 2 seats left in Canada, and they had to rebuild from there. Harper's party hasn't been wiped out yet. I hope I see it. I hope it happens next election. I hope it happens like right away. I hope people look at the COVID-19 crisis and they go, oh, the COVID-19 crisis shows that the Conservatives are frauds and liars and have no ideas. Their idea is literally abandon the populace. That's what individualism is. Abandon the populace. We should fight amongst one another for resources. Is that what you want to be ruled by? Do you want that idea in the sphere? I think we need to get rid of it, and we need to get rid of the party that's pounding on that pulpit. Like, it's a despicable position, and it's disgusting to that it was tolerated in the first place. It's just disgusting to say to people who are in crisis and who are having difficulty in their life, oh, you just got to pull up your bootstraps. By the way, we're going to lower your wages, right? Like, it's just a disgusting, despicable position. And I hope people emerge from this COVID-19 crisis more compassionate to one another and more willing to actually think about ideas that go beyond the idea of selling yourself into a corporate-owned market, which is exactly what we do, right? We sell ourselves to corporations, and I don't see any reason to tolerate that any longer. Fun. This is a complete divergence, but like, Teen Vogue of all places, is really laying out some thunder on this, man. The articles that are coming out of Teen Vogue are literally like, capitalism is destroying us, we need to get away from it, right? And that's in the covers of Teen Vogue. So the kids know what's going on, man. The kids know what's up. They're not going to be voting for capitalists. They're not going to be sporting capitalism, right? And there's good reason, right? The system is designed to destroy us. It's designed to enslave us and sell us to a market that's owned by capitalists. It needs to be dismantled. It needs to be taken apart. I'm to the point now in my life where we should be seizing the means of production away from the capitalist class and transferring it into the hands of the working class, right? That's what should happen. The shareholder class, if I wanted to say that without being so like radically Marxist in my language, I would simply say the shareholder class and the working class need to be merged. The workers need to own the shares, which isn't a radical statement. Places like Germany already do this to an extent. So I'm just so sick and tired of having to take conservatives seriously, because they shouldn't be taken seriously anymore. They can't get power. They lost to a do nothing blackface prime minister last time, who is like a pretty boy with a familiar name. They're not going to win the next election because they're going to put up somebody absolutely insipid. Yeah, I hope I see their party die. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Good luck.